It's crucial that we're responsible in the water as scuba divers, so the dive sites that we visit stay healthy and ideally improve over time because of our presence. And that's one of the reasons that Papua diving in 𝐼𝐸 Ampat really does stand out. Their resorts are tied into long-term conservation, community support, research access, and practical sustainability efforts that go well beyond just taking people diving. Hi all of you awesome scuba divers out there, welcome to the Scuba Diver Magazine channel, your favourite place for latest scuba diving news and gear reviews. Yep, a while back I spoke about the 2 Papua diving resorts in 𝐼𝐸 Ampat, but I didn't really get to cover the bigger picture, which is basically the work that's happening behind the scenes to support the reefs, the local communities, and the long-term future of the area. So today I want to put the spotlight on just that. And the first thing to say is this, that the big headline projects are not just underwater. Yes, the marine side matters massively, obviously, but some of the most important work also happens in classrooms, workshops, gardens, and just kind of day-to-day resort operations. The ones that I'd highlight first are the Batanta Hope Island School, their boat building and wastewater systems, the Syntropic Agroforestry Project, and the Reshark Star Shark Rewilding Project. A portion of Papua Diving's net profit goes into the 𝐼𝐸 Ampat Research and Conservation Centre, or the RARCC, with the conservation mission structured through an independent NGO which was founded in 2009 and an Indonesian foundation established in 2015. So when guests stay and scuba dive there, that tourism spend is helping fund conservation, education, research support, and community-led projects in 𝐼𝐸 Ampat. One of the clearest examples of that is the Batanta Hope Island School. RARCC has supported education in 𝐸𝐻𝐵𝐻 since 2018 after schooling had been absent on the island for more than 20 years. But what I really like is that it's not just framed as, you know, just putting up a school building and then just kind of walking away, letting them fend for themselves. Their approach aims to inspire the entire village, emphasizing character building and environmental education with practical learning that includes beach cleanups, biodiversity lessons, recycling, and even helping with the Reshark Star project by collecting clams for the young shark pups' food. Another thing that makes Papua diving interesting is that some of their conservation impact comes from how they actually run the operation. RARCC trains Papuans from scratch to build fiberglass boats, including speedboats, longboats, catamarans, and kayaks. Now that means that local skills development is tied directly into practical transport, tourism, and long-term livelihoods. On top of that, Papua Diving has publicly highlighted its wastewater garden system, which turns their wastewater into green space and is designed to help protect 𝐼𝐸 Ampat's marine ecosystem. So this isn't just eco as a label, it's operationally sustainability just built into the resort itself. That same practical thinking also shows up in some of the kayak sides of the story. RARCC says that Kayak for Conservation connected tourists with indigenous guides and guest house owners, whilst locally trained Papuan fiberglass craftsmen built the actual kayaks used for those trips. It's a good example of low impact tourism supporting the local economy and collaborating with local communities rather than bypassing it. Not all conservation happens at sea, and Papua Diving's wider work reflects that. The non-profit Syntropic Agroforestry project in 𝐾𝐵𝐻, which is southwest Papua, is about recultivating degraded grasslands through an organic farming system that combines trees and crops to improve the soil health and support community livelihoods. Then there's the Reshark Star project, which is one of the most compelling flagship conservation stories in the whole portfolio. RARCC describes it as part of an international effort to rebuild endangered zebra shark populations in 𝐼𝐸 Ampat and across Southeast Asia, with local facilities for raising zebra sharks from egg to early life stages before release. It's the kind of project that gives people a very visible conservation success story, but it also sits inside a much bigger picture of habitat protection, education, and long-term stewardship. And this is where I'd slightly reframe the reef section from the previous version. Rather than focusing this video on coral plantation footage or making it sound like active coral restoration is the centerpiece, I think the more accurate story is that Papua Diving and RARCC have been a part of the longer term protection of Raja Ampat's reefs through advocacy, monitoring, local engagement, and reducing destructive pressure. RARCC's own materials talk about reducing destructive and illegal fishing activities, collaborating with other stakeholders, and carrying out reef monitoring training systems that include bleaching surveys and fish identification surveys. And the result of protecting reef systems properly is something that divers can actually understand straight away. 𝐾𝐸, right on Papua Diving's doorstep and described as the house reef of Cerritos Bay Resort, holds the world record for the highest number of fish species ever recorded on a single dive at 374, documented by Dr. Jerry Allen. Papua Diving also points to reef sharks as part of what divers regularly encounter around these sites, which gives you a real sense of what healthy protection can look like in practice. Another part of the story that deserves a mention is that Papua Diving and RARCC also help make research possible in a very remote part of the world. RARCC presents itself as a field base for scientists and students with facilities, accommodation, support, and access to boats through Papua Diving. So they're not just funding conservation projects, they're also helping create the infrastructure that lets research and monitoring happen on the ground, or more accurately, in the water. So that's why I wanted to just come back and talk about Papua Diving again, because the real story here is just bigger than just amazing diving. Yes, Raja Ampat has some of the richest coral reefs on Earth, but what makes this more interesting is the attempt to connect tourism with the education and the reef protection, local skills training, practical sustainability, and community-based conservation. That's the kind of model that gives a destination a better chance of staying extraordinary in the long term. So of course, a massive thank you to Papua Diving for sponsoring this video and for supporting the work done through the Raja Ampat Research and Conservation Centre. If you are planning a Raja Ampat trip and you want your dive spend to support projects like the Batanta Hope Island School, the STAR project, agroforestry, and more sustainable resort operations, I'll drop some links in the description and up in the corner of the screen so that you can check them out for yourself. And to you legends, thank you everyone for supporting the channel and of course caring enough about the oceans to learn about this stuff and share it. If you found this useful, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel here on YouTube, and let me know in the comments what conservation work you have seen any dive operators doing really well, and what do you want to see more of in the industry. Share this with your dive buddy too, because the more divers who care, the better these places are going to be for the next generation. Thank you for watching everybody, and of course, safe diving.